Okay, we start now with our prayers. Gajananam bhuta ganati sevitam kapitta jambu palasara pakshitam umasutam shoka vinasha karanam namami vigneshwara pada pankajam. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Welcome to SanGita Session number 5. I hope you all had a wonderful Diwali. I celebrated it in San Jose, and it's nice to have you all back again. And we're going to continue with our sessions. And first, as usual, we'll review the last session, number 4. In the last session, we covered verses 21 to 35 of chapter 1. And we saw that Krishna placed a chariot between the two armies for Arjuna to survey the warriors with whom he's going to fight. And when he does that, Arjuna is seeing all his relatives and acharyas, and he's overcome with deep sorrow and pity. He actually sees no point in killing them just to gain the kingdom and enjoy life. His mind suddenly gets transformed. Arjuna, who really fought against Drona earlier and won over him and made him retreat when he represented Virata Maharaja, today he doesn't want to fight with him. Even though he came with the arms, but he says no point. And he experiences a deep emotional and physical symptoms, discomfort, and he tells Krishna, see, I don't want to fight. So that is the situation right now. But now we will see how he is justifying his own thoughts. You know, in all these, the phases in which the transformation takes place, they are called Raga, Shoka, and Moha. Raga means a desire or attachment, which transforms itself to Shoka, sorrow, and then eventually becomes Moha, which is a delusion or imagination, what is going to happen. Like, for example, Surpanaka went to the forest and she saw Rama, and she fell in love with him and wanted to marry him. When her desire was rejected by Rama, she chose to go back with sorrow to her brother Ravana and told him, look, you have to get me Rama somehow. I was insulted there. Of course, what happened was different. She was suffering from the delusion or imagining that her brother will bring him back, but then something else happened. It happens in everyday life, as you know. When somebody hopes to get a job and he gets rejected, he's filled with sorrow. And then he starts imagining, well, I'm a failure in life. So this happens every day with some desire turning into a sorrow and eventually getting into a delusion or even depression. So this is what Arjuna is going through. He starts imagining things and all kinds of thoughts pour into him. So we'll start from verse 36. Nihatya datarashtanaha ka pritihi sya janardhana papameva chayet asman Tvaitan atatayinaha. You find the second line is very long line. You have to break it. It's a sandhi in Sanskrit, which we taught earlier. And I'm going to break it up for you to understand the real meaning. Let's see what the explanation goes. Nihatya. Han is the root to kill. Nihatya means by killing. Dardra means belonging to Dardra, sons of Dardra. It's a plural, masculine gender. Ka is what? Pritihi, pleasure. It's feminine. Sya Janardana. Asyat, it comes from the root as, to be, plus Janardana. Now, Krishna is, as I told you earlier, is called by different names. In fact, Bhagavad Gita, he has got 27 names, different names. Here, Arjuna addresses him as Janardana, Janasya Ardhanam. Ardhanam means one who really torments. And you see, our Hindu deities, most of them have weapons. You see, Shiva has got a Shulam. You got Vishnu, he's got Gatai, Shankhi Chakram. Durga has got many, many weapons. People think, why should they have weapons? No, they are required because we believe that evil has to be punished and dharma has to be restored. That is why you have those weapons. And Janardana is Janasya Ardhanam, one who torments people. What people? The evil people, the people who are adharmic. And Krishna says that every yuga he will take avataram to make sure that dharma is established. Now the second line, which is a long line, which I mentioned, I'm going to split it up for you. It's papam, which is singular, neutral, which is relation to sin. Papam eva, only. Ashreyat, accrue. Asmat, ours. Hatva, I said, Han means the root by killing. Etan, these. Atatayinaha, felons. You know, felony, actually a word from French. It is meaning one who has committed a serious crime. It is punishable by death or long-term imprisonment. So here, the Kauravas are being described as felons. So if you look at the complete meaning of this verse, by killing these sons of Dhritarashtra, what pleasure can be ours, O Janardana, O Krishna? We'll only accrue sins by killing these felons. You know, this felony is called Mahapatakam in Sanskrit. Mahapatakam means big sin. And there are 5 of them. Pancha Mahapatakam. Sorry. One is murdering people. 2 is poisoning and killing them. 3 is burning property. 4, stealing property. 5, abducting a woman. These are all Pancha Mahapatakam. And here, Kauravas are being called as felons. And Arjuna is saying, even by killing these felons, we'll only get sin. So what's the point? So here he's trying to justify his thoughts. Stronger the attachment, more is the grief, and people try to hide it and justify those actions. So usually you'll find there is a conflict of mind and intellect. Let me give an example. Let's say a diabetic is very fond of sweets, and you place a place of laddus and jalebis before him. He wants to eat it, but his intellect and his doctor warn him that is not good for you. But the mind tries to justify, it doesn't matter. After all, it is one day. Let me have my pleasure. No harm in taking it today. He justifies it. So here, Arjuna is actually justifying his thoughts. And you will find he is continuing to justify it in the following slokas also. He talks about the consequences of fighting the war, and he doesn't realize what is really dharma and what is really adharma. At this stage, he doesn't know it. In fact, he wants to run away from the battle. And in modern parlance, he could be court-martialed for running away and abandoning the battle. It's true, in army, if a soldier runs away, he could be court-martialed. It's a serious offense. So he's trying to justify why exactly he wants to run away from the battle. Going further, verse 37. Tasman narha vayam hantum dadarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katam hatva sukhinaha syam madhava. So here Krishna is being addressed as Madhava. Going to the meaning of these various words, Tasman Narha, split up into Tasman Na Arha. Tasman means therefore, Na Arha, it's not deserving. Vayam, the Hantum, killing, Dadarashtan Swabandhavan, the sons of Dhritarashtra, who are our own kith and kin, their cousins. Our own kith and kin, Swabandhavan, Swa means self, Bandhavan, bound. You see, Bandham and bond, they are similar. Bound by the relationship. The sons of Dhritarashtra, who are our own kith and kin, Swabandhavan, Swajanam, our own relatives. He only, katam, how, hatva, by killing them, sukhinaha, happy, syam madhava, O Madhava. Therefore, he justified, therefore, we should not kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, our own relatives. How can we be happy by killing our own people, O Krishna? He's asking this question, but there's a lot of hidden meaning in it. India is a great country where wisdom flew from various scriptures, from Vedas, from Bhagavad Gita, from the Upanishads and so on. And the rishis taught us many things. Kanva Maharshi got one mantram called Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Just 2 words, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The world is our family. This is a unique word, only from India. Now, India has always followed a very strong family relationship. The attachments are very strong between the family members. If you want proof, just visit an airport or a railway station in India. You see how many people come to see off a passenger. I think they make more money by selling the airport fees ticket and the platform tickets shows the attachment of people. Even here, you'll find people go up to the door and then keep on talking for 10, 15 minutes before they part company. So, uncles, brothers, cousins, aunts, they were either living together and it was a team, they were close to each other, took care of the less privileged members of the family. You know, there's always someone who is sick or who is handicapped. The rest of the family took care of them. It's only in recent times we see these nuclear families, maybe as a result of westernization or a Western influence, less of tolerance for other family members. So here, he's so attached with his cousins that he doesn't want to kill them. So he says, we should not kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, our relatives, but how can we be happy by killing them? We want them to be with us. So you find in the US, parents coming here almost every year to take care of the grandchildren. Their only interest is in taking care. So I see so many families where people come here and they take care of the grandchildren, and the children are also happy about it. In fact, I asked one of these people who came from Chennai, so how does he find the life here in Chicago? And he told me very interestingly, 5 days jail and 2 days bail. That means in 5 days, the son or daughter goes away to work and he's at home alone, maybe taking care of the kids. And Saturday, Sunday only, he can go out. So I think it's very true that it is happening. The attachment is still there. So here he's talking about family, and the importance of family is being described in the subsequent verses too. So I'm going to talk about it more as we continue. Verse 38. Yadyapyete na pashyanti lobo pahatchetasaha kulakshaya kritam dosham mitra dohe cha patakam. Because many of these words are simple words, I think you will be able to understand it. But nevertheless, I will give you a short explanation. Yadapyete, yadyapi, to be split into yadi and api. Means even if. Yadi means even. Api is if. Na pashyanti, do not see. Lobo pahata chetasaha. Lobo comes from the root lub, to entice people. And from that comes the noun lobha, which is greed. Lobo plus pahata. In Hindi, you say pakadna, right? Which means catching. Pahata. Overpowered or caught. Chetasaha. Mind, intellect. Kula chaya kritam. Kulam means family. Chayam means destruction. Kritam means causing. So, causing destruction of families. Dosham, very commonly used, means an evil. Mitra drohe, which is causing hostility or hurt to friends. What you call stabbing in the back. Cha, and patakam is sin. So in this verse it says, though they, who they? Kauravas, with intelligence. They are intelligent, but they are overpowered by greed. Greed of acquiring more land, kingdom, which legitimately belongs to the Pandavas, but they want to take it. That's a greed. They see no evil in the destruction of families, even if they don't see, and no sin in hostility to friends. In other words, whatever they do, I don't agree with it. Even if they say there is no sin in killing us, Pandavas. And he continues in the next verse. What does he say? Katham mayeyam sasmabhi papat asman nivartitum kulatchaya kritam dosham parpasyad virjanadhana. Katham na. Why not? Nyayam, from the root nya, to know. Jnanam also comes from the same root. Knowledge. Nyayam is what is known. Idam, this. Nivirtutum, ni plus vrita, to withdraw or stay away. Prapasyadbihi, pra plus drisha. Drisha is to see, drishti. Prapasyadbihi is see clearly. Kulatchaya kritam dosham, evil in destroying the family. So Arjuna continues the argument, why should not we, who clearly see the evil in the destruction of a family, stay away from this, committing this sin? O Janardana, O Krishna. You see, he is explaining the evil in destroying the family. I mentioned about how we always attach a lot of importance to family. No, as a child grows, you find the child is influenced by the parents as role model. And if they don't get the kind of attention, then they get into problems. So the family is an important institution. You know, I want to tell you an incident which I have seen personally. I used to be living in Chennai. There were some slum dwellers who had to be resettled to another settlement, and therefore temporarily they gave accommodation right in front of my house along the wall of a school compound. And they built their own huts, and there were a couple of families. And every night you will find the husbands drunk and coming. And one of them may be a rickshaw driver, I don't know what. He used to come drunk at home and beat up his wife. There'll be a lot of fights, shouting and all that. And that lady who was suffering, she had a father-in-law who was probably immobile. He couldn't move. And they put a small cot for him, and he used to watch it helplessly. Next day morning, I find this very lady giving a holy bath to her husband, who really met her the previous night, and used to dress him up and take care of an ailing father-in-law. Very poor people, slum dwellers. What happened the previous night didn't affect them. There was so much of scuffle, but family. The attachment was so strong. That particular lady, she was paying so much of attention. So here, the evil in destroying the family, Arjuna is seeing. He says, why should we not stay away from this, kill these families, and it's going to result in a lot of problems. Going further, verse number 40. Kulachaye pranasyanti kuladharmaha sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam krishnam adharmo abhibhavatyuta. Kulachaye. Two words, kulam and chayan. Kulam, of course, refers to family, lineage. And Shayaha is destruction. You put I become Akshaya. The proverbial Akshaya Patram, which was giving things without anything, and it was flowing. So Akshaya means non-destruction, non-continuity. Chaya is destruction. Chaya Rogam is tuberculosis. Kula Dharmaha, Kulasya Dharmaha, rituals and traditions of a family. Pranasyanti, pra plus nash, to perish. Sanatanaha, eternal, immemorial. Our religion is called Sanatana Dharma. You know that. Eternal. Dharme plus nashte is rituals. Nashte is to destroy. Krishnam is entire. Adharma, non-righteousness. Abhibhavati, splitting up. Abhi, bhu is a root here. Abhi plus bhu, to prevail. So Arjuna here is justifying to go away from the battle because he sees in the destruction of a family the immemorial or eternal religious rights of the family perish, they get destroyed. And following the destruction of these rituals, impiety overcomes the whole family. Now again, he is stressing the importance of family. It is a family that nurtures age-old traditions and cultures. And if we destroy the family, such traditions and culture will be lost. Spiritual values will be lost. And it will spread to the other communities also around. We see that in many homes today, isn't it? That the rituals are not known because the family is moved away or they are kind of split up completely. So it's causing a lot of consequences. So he stresses that we have to maintain the family and not destroy it. Going further, verse number 41. Adharma abhivavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha strishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna sankaraha. Again, Arjuna is stressing the importance of family. Adharma abhivavat, split up as adharma plus abhibhavaha. Adharma is of course non-righteousness. Abhibhavaha is prevails. Krishna, oh Krishna, pradushyanti, pra plus dush is to become corrupted. Sometimes in Tamil you use the dushtai, is corrupted. A person who is corrupted is called dushtai. Dush is corrupt. Kulastriyaha, women of the family. Varshneya, Krishna is being described as Varshneya, descendant of Vrishni, a great person in whose family Krishna is descended. Strishu, women, Dushtasu, maligned, corrupted, Jayate, to become, from the root jana, to be born, Jayate. Varna Sankaraha, intermingling of classes of people. I had been to Berlin long, long ago, when it was East and West Berlin with the wall intact. And I saw how the war has impacted the families there. In fact, in Berlin, there were many restaurants which were actually brothels. I see how the war has ruined people. Therefore, a very stable understanding of the family is essential. And a child grows, particularly, and the importance of the parents in influencing the child is not fully understood in many places. They're saying that up to 5 years, you treat the child like a prince. And 6 to 16, you treat him like a slave, make him work. Then once he becomes 16, treat him as your friend. Our Gurukulam was based on that. The children used to be trained by the Guru, and they were made to work the ages of 6 to 16. And the Varna Sankaraha is an important word here. What happens? Varna is the classes of people, which we have described in many Vedas as well as other documents. Varnaha, derived from the root bru. Bru means to classify, to describe. In Rig Veda, Varna means color, outward appearance, not just only the figure, but from the quality and properties. So we have these 4 Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaidya, Sudras. And this classification was done depending on the inherent qualities in people. You find that even today in many cases. You go to Kanchipuram, you have the weavers weaving the silk saris, where the skill is given from one generation to another, it goes on. You go to Kumbakonam, where they do metalworking. Even today, you have brass vessels and many vessels coming, metalworking. Very good people. They get the skills descended. Sculptors. A Brahmin may know about architecture and sculpture, but he can't do the things, chiseling out an idol. It's done by specialized people, where the skill is passed down from generations through centuries. It's not the work of any of these varnas less important than the other. They're all equally important. The division of labor was understood, and they were given the importance was due. So what happens if there is intermingling of class of people, which people may ask? Let me ask, supposing there is a conservative Brahmin marrying, let's say, a Muslim or a Christian. Nothing wrong. But then, which rituals do you follow? Do you follow the Hindu rituals, or Muslim rituals, or Christian rituals? The question comes up. They may make some arrangement. What happens to the next generation? Which one they'll follow? So it leads to confusion. Varna sankaraha means confusion. It is leading to problems. So there are prescribed duties and responsibilities for people, and they get into a confusion. See, the role of a mother is very important in any family, because the mother only shapes up a child. What happens if a person has more than one wife, stepmother, let's say? You know the story of Prahlada, what happened? He had a stepmother who scorned him and sent him away. You can't sit on your father's lap. So you have cases where you have stepmothers, the earlier wife getting divorced, another person comes in the family who has no attachment, and then the children suffer. They may not tell because it's too early for them to tell. So it is something which we see every day today. There is so much of confusion. And Arjuna warns about this, that if this happens, there will be intermingling and confusion, and it will lead to problems. The women become corrupted or become mentally depressed. I'll give you an actual true story of what happened in Kerala. Kerala, there was a lot of immigration of people to the Gulf countries to earn money. Kerala was probably one of the unique states which had sent a lot of people. They all went there to make a living, and they used to send money home. And the resulting consequence was that many of the women, they became mentally depressed, either because the money was not reaching them, or some middleman took it away and there was no control, or they had psychological problems, and the psychiatric cases went up. Due to the husband being away, the family got split up. So these are all, we see today in many cases. So he's warning. Now what happens is lead to intermingling of classes people. Going further, verse 42. Sankaro narakājaiva kulagnan kulasthya patanti pitaro hesham lupta pindodaga kriyaha. Sankaro. I mentioned Sankaro means confusion. Arising, Sankaro means arising from the confusion of Varnas. Kulagnam, Kulagna, that which causes destruction of family. Kulasya, of the family. Cha, and Narakaya, means Narakam means hell. Eva, only. Yesham, this. Pitaraha, Pita, Pitaraha. Pita means father. Pitaraha means forefathers, plural. Patanti, fall down. He, certainly. Lupta. Lup is a root, means to lose. Lupta means to be lost or deprived. Pindodaga kriyaha. Pindam, cha, udakam, cha, kriyaha. You know, pindam is a rice ball which is offered to the ancestors. Udakam is water. One of the names for water, udakam. Kriyaha, rituals, rites. You know, we do shraddham, tarpanam and all that for ancestors. So it all includes pindam cha udakam cha kriyaha. So Arjuna says here, confusion of caste leads the killers of the family to hell. For their forefathers fall because they are deprived of the offerings of rice ball and water. See, rituals, you can't avoid them. They are there everywhere. People may think that rituals, Hinduism is full of rituals, but even other religions have their own rituals. Recently, I was in San Jose and I visited the largest Gurudwara in America. Gurudwara, the temple of the Sikhs. They still maintain the traditions. For them, the Granth Sahib, like our Vedas, is really the thing that they worship, the Granth Sahib. And they are still maintaining the tradition rituals, following what has been said by their Guru, Guru Nanak. And the ceremonial observance, what they do, is adding a lot of depth, dimension, kind of distinction in their lives. I saw how people were dedicated and the bhajans were going on there. It's a beautiful place. And they were giving food to everybody. A traditional custom which is followed in Gurudwara and also many Hindu temples. You go to Sringeri, they give you. These are all traditions. Now, when there is confusion, the regular traditions or rituals, they go away. You see many people here, they ask the question, why should we after all do these rituals? I can be free. I don't want to do anything. There are people. But here, Arjuna's saying that kind of a confusion is going to really affect the people and it is going to lead people to hell. And he's making a point here, which some people may dispute, but we can see in many places there are families which are suffering. Going further, doshairetehi kulagnanam varnasankarakaihi utsadyante jati dharmaha kuladharmascha shashvataha. Doshaihi, by evil deeds, etaihi is a plural, these, kulagnana, destroys of the family, varna sankara karakaihi, that which caused confusion of castes, classes, shashvataha, eternal, permanent, jati dharmaha, religious rights of a caste, utsadyante, split up, uts plus sad, to uproot or destroy. In fact, in Hindi you say uto, right? Get up. It's kind of uproot, ut, get destroyed. By these evil deeds of the destroyers of the family, which causes confusion of classes, the eternal religious rights of the caste and the family are destroyed. It's true in many cases. We can see that as we today. When people of two different classes, they get married, the children get confused and they don't know which one to follow, so they drop it off. As simple as that. So, Arjuna is really stressing the connection between family, the values and the culture and the dharmic way of life. So what is dharmic way of life? It's got a couple of key contributors. One is the values like being truthful, respect for elders, being non-violent, showing love, affection, being generous. These are all values which are brought in a family. 2 is the attitudes which people have towards other things, like the 5 elements. We teach our children, don't spit in water, don't waste food. These are some of the values, attitudes towards the 5 elements, that we show respect to them. In fact, we worship them. Towards the Guru, it's an attitude. And the Dharma also includes one important thing called rituals, samskaram, what ought to be done well. Sankaram, samskaram. Now, rituals are seen everywhere. The Christians also do prayers before they take the meal. But they are less understood and appreciated as of now. But by following rituals, what do you get? Well, you do Sandhya Vandanam regularly, you do regular puja or whatever your rituals are. Even brushing the teeth is a ritual in the morning. Taking a bath is a ritual. It kind of helps to develop self-discipline, control of one's mind, keeping the body good. And it contributes to the well-being of communities. In other words, develops your team spirit. So when you destroy families and it causes confusion in the classes, these rituals and the dharmic values, they get impacted. That's the meaning. Going further, Utsanna kula dharmanam manushyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavatitya anususrama. Janardana, again is addressing Krishna as Janardana. O Krishna, Utsanna kula dharmanam. Utsannaha kuladharmaha yasya saha. Means one who has suffered the uprooting of family rituals. One word but split up into 4 different words. Manushyanam for men, aniyatam, na niyatam, indefinitely. Niyatam means definite, na niyatam. Vasa, to live. Bhavatita anususrama, one word, but to be split as bhavati plus iti plus anu susrama. Anu susrama also you can split up. Anu plus sru. Sru is to hear, like sruti, to hear. Bhavati is to be, iti is yes. Anususrama, have heard. Anususrama, have heard. Arjuna says, O Janardana, O Krishna, we have heard that the dwelling for an unknown period in hell indefinitely is inevitable for those men whose families, the religious practices have been destroyed. He doesn't say it is his own firm opinion, but he says we have heard. It's a belief which continues even today, that those families where the religious practices have been destroyed, whatever has been practiced over centuries, or tradition, for them, the next world is not going to be a pleasant one. That is what we have heard. Nobody is there to tell us the proof. So he's just saying that in addition to all these, what I mentioned earlier, this is what we have heard. He's just trying to justify his reasoning why we should withdraw from the battle. So going further, verse number 45. Aho bata mahat papam Tum davasita vayam yedrajya sukha lobhena hantum swajanam udyataha. Ahobat. Hope is actually lamenting. Oh God, alas, how strange it is to be so greedy. Mahat papam. Papam is sin. Mahat means big. Mahat papam, great sin. Kartum, doing it. Vyavasitaha, or engaged. Vayam, we. Rajya sukha, pleasures of a kingdom. Lobhena, through greed. Hantum, to kill. Swajanam, own kith and kin. Udyataha, prepared. Oh my God, we are involved in a great sin. We are prepared to kill our own people only for the greed, for the pleasures of a kingdom. What a sad state of affairs. He laments. Again, he is attaching importance to the family. By killing those people who are our own people, what do we get? Are we going to be happy? Now, long ago, I had an American visitor when I was in India. I asked him a question. What is unique about India? And he said in one line, which still rings in my ears, so people seem to be very happy here for no reason to be happy. You see the slum dwellers, they're happy. There is no reason for them to be happy by Western standards, but still they're happy. Why? It's because of the family connections, the importance. Alas, such values are gradually eroding. So here, Arjuna laments, well, how strange it is, how we are involved in doing such a great sin that we are prepared to kill our own people just because we have the greed to get the pleasures of a kingdom. Going further, verse number 46. Yedi mam apratikaram asastram shastrapanyaha dardarashtrarane hanyus tanme chemataram bhavet. Yadi is a conjunction. If, the long word, mam pratikaram asastram, to be split into mam, I, apratikaram. Pratikaram is to resist, to oppose. Apratikaram is not to resist, unresisting. Shastram is weapons or armed. Asastram is opposite, unarmed. I, unresisting, unarmed. One word in Sandhi, mama pratikaram asastram. Dardra Rashtraha, which you knew before, sons of Dhritarashtra. Sastra Panyaha. Panyaha is hands. Panigrahanam you say, right? Holding one hand is Panigrahanam. The wedding you say Panigrahanam. Kodanda Pani. One who is the bow in his hand. Sastra Panyaha, with arms in hand. Rane in battle. Hanyus Tanme. Hanyuhu, you know that earlier. Plus tat, plus me is kill, that, me. Chemataram, better. Bhave, to become. So he's kind of resigning. Says, even if the sons of Dhritarashtra, with weapons in hand, kill me in battle, unresisting and unarmed, I'll put down my bow and I will not have any arms and I will not resist them. If they kill me, that would be better for me. In other words, he's willing to offer his life for the sake of maintaining the family and not killing them. So, he's coming to the conclusion, the next verse, which we'll hear shortly now. Verse number 47 is the last verse here. The scene shifts to Sanjaya telling Dhritarashtra what is happening. So the camera focus from the battlefield to Sanjaya. Sanjaya Uvacha. Let's see the meaning of each of these words. Sanjaya said, Evam Uktva, having spoken thus, Arjuna, Sankhe is in the battlefield, Ratopastha, two words here, Ratam plus Upastha. Ratam is a chariot, or the Ratham, in which he is traveling to the battlefield. Upastha is a seat. Upavishatu. He sat down. Visrijya, discarding. While singing bhajans, we say, Lajjam Visrijya, discard your sense of reservations. Don't be ashamed. Come and sing together. Visrijya, discarding. Sacharam, Saha plus Charam with arrow. Shoka sambigna manasaha. Shokena sambignam manasaha. Means a mind afflicted with sorrow. Shokena, shokam is sorrow. Manasaha is mind. Sambignam is afflicted. Mind afflicted with sorrow. So Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, having spoken thus in the midst of the battlefield, Arjuna, casting away, throwing down his bow and arrow, sat down on the seat of the chariot with his mind overwhelmed with sorrow. He's so sad that he has thrown away his arms. And all along, Krishna doesn't speak a word. He's listening to what all Arjuna is lamenting. He's listening to his justification as why he should not fight. So many of the things that Arjuna said are true because family is an important institution, no doubt. But what is dharma and adharma? Now, what is dharma in one case could be adharma for somebody else. It's a viewpoint. Like a judge trying out a criminal who is a killer, who is a murderer, can sentence him to death. It may look adharma to kill that person. But for the judge, it is keeping up the dharma. It is keeping up the righteousness because if somebody has done a crime, he ought to be punished. It's the law of the land. So he has to perform the duty to make sure the law of the land is observed. So to him, it is a dharma, even though somebody else might think it is adharma to kill a person. It's not so. So, in this particular case, he doesn't know, he is confused which is dharma and which is dharma. He thinks the dharma is not to kill the other people. Krishna is listening throughout. He doesn't open his mouth. One of the management lessons here. First listen, only then talk. So he is listening. Throughout the first chapter, he doesn't talk at all. So, we will conclude the first chapter with this, and I'm going to end it with this. Hari Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvadhe Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Pratamo Adhyayah. It is a conclusion of this chapter. What I said just now, it means, thus in the Upanishads of the glorious Bhagavad Gita, the science of the eternal, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. In this case, Krishna doesn't talk, but still it is called the dialogue as the name for the complete Bhagavad Gita, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, ends the first discourse entitled Arjuna Vishada Yogaha. And this is the starting of the Karma Yoga. It goes in stages: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So we conclude the chapter 1. Sri Haraye Namaha, Sri Haraye Namaha, Sri Haraye Namaha. We'll meet again next Saturday, same time, when I would probably give you a quick summary of chapter 1, and then we'll begin with chapter 2. Thank you all for joining, and enjoy the weekend. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guru.
In the end,